What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video. What's with my arm movement? To get this right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video here on my YouTube channel. As you can tell by the title, today I'm going to be discussing how I managed to travel Vietnam for 1 month on just $15 per day while still having the best time and not missing out on any experiences whatsoever. Now, before I jump into my secrets and tips on how I managed to do that, if you do find this video useful at any point, be sure to let me know by leaving a like. Put any comments or questions, or if you have travelled Vietnam, do let me know down below in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Also, go and check out my website, which will be linked on screen right now, which has got some travel content on there, travel blogs, which I'm starting to do, and of course my Vietnam travel guides, which I will get into in a bit more detail a bit later on in this video. So I'm going to be breaking this video down into 3 main sections. If you've seen any of my previous How Expensive Is series, which I've basically took a look at how expensive London is, Paris, Croatia, Bangkok, I think, and maybe a couple of other places. It's going to be very, very similar to that. But instead, I'm just going to tell you how I managed to travel Vietnam for 1 month on $15 a day, as I mentioned at the start. And those categories are accommodation, food and drink, transport, and then kind of a less main category is just everything else. So anything that doesn't fall into them categories, I'm just going to touch on at the very, very end. But let's jump straight into accommodation. Okay, so starting off with accommodation now, if you've seen any of my vlogs from Vietnam, which you should go and do, there's a playlist which will be linked on screen right now, and I literally vlogged from the moment I stepped into Vietnam to the moment I left. You would have noticed that I stayed mainly in hostels, living the backpacker life, because at the end of the day, that's what this channel and my blog is all about. Just being a backpacker on a budget and sharing my experiences with you guys. Now, as I mentioned, mainly hostels. There was only 2 occasions where I didn't stay in a hostel, which was 1 homestay and 1 hotel, which I will get into in just a moment. But I've got some average prices on screen for me to read to you guys that I experienced myself whilst traveling Vietnam. So the average price for a hostel that I personally experienced throughout the entirety of Vietnam was £5 per night. Now I'm just going to run through the quick list of a couple of examples. So in Hanoi it was £4 a night, and that does include 3 different hostels, so very, very reasonably priced. Sapa, it was £5 per night, and that was for a capsule hotel, which was kind of like a hostel as well. Unbelievable experience. Ninh Bình, it was £5 a night. That was actually a homestay. Hue was £3 a night. Hoi An was £6 per night. Da Nang was £5 per night. Mui Ne was a hotel, which was £8 a night, which I'll touch on hotels in just a moment. And Ho Chi Minh City was my priciest hostel at £7 to £8 a night. But it was by far the nicest and most luxurious I've actually seen so far in Southeast Asia. So as you can see, average, I'd say £4 to £5 a night. And they were great value for money. Very, very clean, very safe. Some of the best hostels I think I've probably stayed in, to be fair. And it was a great experience. And you do obviously meet a lot of other backpackers, which is one of the main reasons I actually stay in hostels. Now, in terms of hotel prices for backpackers who kind of want a bit of extra privacy, maybe a private room, but don't want to go for a luxurious, like fancy, over-the-top, pricey hotel, I found it's about £10 to £15 per night for like a basic hotel or private room for backpackers, if that's what you want to go down that route of. Obviously, hostels do actually have private rooms, and that's a great option if you do want that extra privacy, but you also want to be in a hostel environment where you can meet fellow backpackers, then that might be a great option for you. Or if you want to go all out and live the baller lifestyle in Vietnam, you can get a luxury hotel, I found, for about £30 to £40 per night, and that's like top quality 5-star hotels. So you can see the prices from Southeast Asia, in particularly, obviously for this video, Vietnam, are completely crazy compared to the prices of Europe. If you wanted a 5-star hotel in Europe in some major cities, you would be paying through the roof. So obviously prices are a lot lower in Southeast Asia, which is why backpackers love to go there. Now, another tip for accommodation that will also fall into the transport category, which I will touch on in a moment, is take overnight trains where you possibly can. Mainly for the reason that they cover transport and they cover your accommodation. I personally took 2 night trains, I believe. One was £15 and one was £27. Now, the reason the one was £27 was because it was a 4-berth. So the prices largely depend on a couple of things. How many people are in the actual berth with you within the cabin. So it's either 4, 6 or 8. So obviously it's just the multiple of bunk beds. 4 obviously being the most expensive, 6 and then 8 going down in price. And then obviously the class that you're in, if you're in first class, second class, etc., the price will change. And obviously how close you book the train to the departure time. So I actually booked that £27 overnight train literally the day before I was about to go. So it kind of hit me quite hard with the price, but it was just something I had to do. Now, before we do actually carry on to the food and drink section, I want to let you know about my Vietnam travel guide that is available on my brand new website, along with some travel blogs about Vietnam. But the travel guide itself is basically a PDF document that covers everything you could possibly want to know before heading out to Vietnam for your trip. It was basically every question I had and every little detail that I wanted to know before my trip put into one guide, and it's just made it a lot easier to travel Vietnam. You can literally download it to your phone and it has everything that you need to know, whether it be visas, vaccines, when to travel, how much to take, what to pack, and obviously for this video it also has some average prices which will come in very, very handy, as I said, before your trip to plan, and obviously whilst you're there you can refer back to it as it is available as a PDF document that you can literally download straight to your phone. So go and check it out on my brand new website, as I said, aaronjarvistravel.com, and then if you want to go straight to the product, just go /store and it will come straight up for you. There will also be a link in the description. If you don't want to type all that out, just click that, it's a lot easier. Now, food and drink in Vietnam is incredibly cheap, but I found a couple of ways to make it even cheaper, and the biggest one is using hostels, facilities, and obviously the kindness, as most hostels in Vietnam do actually offer free breakfast, which is incredible. I've been to a couple of countries, mainly in Europe, where they just refuse to offer free breakfast in hostels, and it's just kind of nationwide that's just kind of the standard thing, that they just don't do it. Whereas in Vietnam, it seems to be quite common that everywhere does actually offer free breakfast, so that does help you out a lot. You can obviously have your free breakfast, and then if you want, do what I do and stock up for lunch. But if you don't want to do that, snacks and lunch are incredibly cheap. If you just want to go to a sandwich shop or just go to any type of shop, get a coffee, couple of snacks and a bit of food, it will not set you back any more than £1 to £2, because food over in Southeast Asia and Vietnam is so cheap. Mainly if you eat local food, that is the best way to keep the prices down. If you obviously go to Western based food, the price does sneak up ever so slightly, and then if you go to named brands when you're snacking, like Western foods, like chocolate, it does go up even more, but just stick to the local food and you will not go wrong. In terms of evening meals, you will find it hard to spend more than £3 to £5, and that is mainly because everywhere, again, as I said, serves local food. And whilst you're traveling the country, I do find it quite important to at least try the local cuisine at least once. And to be honest, I was a bit skeptical of the Vietnamese food before going, because I didn't really think I would like anything that they were offering, but trust me, every single thing I tried over there was absolutely amazing. And another great thing in Vietnam is that most hostels again offer free evening meals if you help cook or help prepare the meal yourself or do the cleaning up afterwards. They do always have a way of offering free food in return of something, and I did find most hostels had that option, and again, it's a great way to socialize at your hostel. Now, the best part about Vietnam, if you do love a drink and you do love a party, is that beer was about 15,000 Vietnamese dong, which works out at like 50 pence a pint. That is just unbelievable, and it's making me miss Vietnam right now. Now in Vietnam, you'll find that buses are more than likely cheaper than trains, and there are a couple of reasons for that. Firstly being, trains are normally faster, to be fair, and you probably get a bit more of a scenic route. But secondly, buses are not comfortable and they are not made for Western people, especially over in Southeast Asia and in Vietnam. Sleeper buses are a no-no from me. I actually only experienced one sleeper bus in Vietnam because I was kind of put off before going, but I actually experienced one for myself because at the end of the day it's all part of the adventure, but I absolutely hated it. As I said, they are just not made for Westerners, so if you are over a certain height, please avoid night buses, overnight buses with all cost in Vietnam, and just take the train. As I said before, the prices are very, very reasonable. Now, if you actually need to travel during the day, buses are completely fine as you'll have a normal seat and not one of them weird reclining seats that they use on the overnight buses. And as I said, it is the cheaper option. And at the end of the day, you've got a month to travel Vietnam. Time should not be that much of an issue. You're not in that much of a rush. Now, in terms of intercity transport, there's no train systems or anything like that. The main way of getting around is via bus, or obviously, as Vietnam is most famous for, motorbikes, which is not only intercity options, you can actually just hire a motorbike and travel the entire of Vietnam and just sell it when you get to the end or give it back to the hire company, however you do actually get one. If you get a motorbike in Hanoi, you can literally drive it all the way down to Ho Chi Minh City and vice versa. But getting around in the cities themselves, I found Grab Motorbikes, so the Grab app, which I've mentioned in a couple of videos, by far the best option and some of the cheapest prices. And obviously they do give you helmets, which is great for safety, because if you just pull over a local Vietnamese person and ask him for a lift on a motorbike, the chances are he will not have a helmet for you and you will be clinging on for dear life. So always go with Grab, as they are obviously by far the most safe and usually the cheapest option. Now, in terms of everything else, the budget that I've said, $15 per day, does not include flights in and out of Vietnam. So obviously you have to get there. That's not included in the price. Visas are not included. And of course, if you're anything like me and you're stupid and you forget to put on bug spray and you get ill, then hospital prices and medical fees are not included in that either. Obviously, I did end up in hospital in Vietnam. I hope you guys don't, so just take that as me passing on my information to you guys. Try and avoid the hospital at all costs, but that was not included in the price either. The only other prices that should be included are attractions and excursions. So in Sapa, I've done a whole video on why you do not need to hire a guide to do the trekking and hikes, because it is literally the most straightforward thing possible, and there are maps that you can literally download and follow. Very, very easy. Halong Bay will be the most expensive thing you probably do in Vietnam. I was very, very fortunate enough to partner with a company out there, which I have mentioned, and they will be linked down below in the description. Central Backpackers in Hanoi, unbelievable. But Halong Bay tours do tend to cost around 150 to 200 US dollars for backpacker options for the 3-day 2-night option. So as I said, that is quite a costly thing, but it is 100% worth doing. The water park in Hue, which is another huge thing that people do love to do in Vietnam, only costs 10,000 Vietnamese dong per person, which is about 30 pence. And then Mui Ne, where you can see the sand dunes, the fairy stream and fisherman's village. You can do all of that, which is 4 to 6 hours of exploring and adventuring for just £4 to £5. So as I said, attractions really aren't that expensive in Vietnam, and then the regular museums and stuff like that will cost you no more than 20,000 Vietnamese dong per entry per place. So it does come in very, very cheap. So that is exactly how I traveled Vietnam on just $15 per day, and you guys can do the exact same too. As long as you've got comfort, you get to see everything you want to do, and obviously you're having a good time, eating well and drinking well, then you're traveling the backpacker's life and you're traveling Vietnam the right way. And this country is amazing, and of course very reasonably priced to travel. Now, if you did find any of the points in this video useful at any point, as I said at the start, be sure to let me know by leaving a like. If you have any questions about anything I mentioned in this video whatsoever, be sure to let me know in the comments section. Go and check out my Vietnam travel guide video that will be linked on screen and in the description, and obviously my Vietnam travel guide PDF, which is live on my website right now. But thank you all for watching. Until next time, goodbye.